Have you ever stood at a crossroad in your career, wondering which path to take next? And have you ever felt that you would love to have a guiding star that sets you on a path to success? If you've ever wondered about any of these questions, then today's session of the 12 Days of Career Goals is made for you. We're going to dive into strategic career planning and explore how challenges can actually shape your career path. We're going to dive into that pivotal what's next moment and unravel the importance of mindset in career advancement. So get ready to be inspired and empowered. Hello and welcome to day 7 of the 12 Days of Career Goals. I'm Teresa White, career clarity coach and the founder of Career Bloom. And I am excited that you are here and joining us on this journey of discovery and goal setting. And I've been even more excited that we have a special guest joining us today who embodies resilience and strategic career planning. Prashha Dutra. Prashha is a confidence coach, TEDx speaker, and the CEO of Believe in Your Brilliance. Prashha is on a mission to help STEM women confidently answer what's next in their careers and accomplish that in the next 90 days. You got to check out her website at prashhadutra.com and follow her on Instagram for a daily dose of positivity and a unique take on all things confidence. So let's bring Prashha on stage, and I'm excited for her to share her insights and strategies on setting effective career goals. Hi, Prashha.
Hi, Teresa. How are you?
I am doing good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. I can't wait to talk to you about setting career goals because I know there's so much for us to unpack here.
Yes.
But since we're in the middle of the holidays, I do want to kick it off as a festive icebreaker question. And I'm wondering if you have any tips, because I really actually need them, on last minute go-to strategies for holiday shopping. And same for the audience. If you have any tips or go-to strategies for last minute holiday shopping, please drop them in now.
Yeah, so my favorite one is so I love to gift books. Like that's one thing I learned very early. I don't know where I heard it in a podcast or something, and I always invest in books and I buy books and I always give from my own library of like books I have. So my last minute things that I do sometimes is I'll get a gift card, or if I have a gift card that I can like give forward, then I'll pick up my favorite book from my library, and I would like, I don't have a huge one, it's just a few books, but I would like carefully pick it for the person I'm gifting it to, try to understand like what would suit them, what would they need, and then I like stick the gift card in there and like do a personal message. So that's my favorite last minute thing to do.
I love it because it's such it's just a thoughtful gift that you actually.
And I always have extra books because I buy literally all of them.
Wow, I love that. I'm gonna remember that. That's such a really beautiful idea. And I agree, books are such great gifts. And I'm still, even though in all this technology, like nothing beats actually holding a book in your hand.
Yes. Yeah. And I enjoy it. And my thing is like it might even be tattered or have dog ears or whatever, and then I recommend like everybody like pass it on. Like if you like it, enjoy it, just give it further. It is from my book collection. I'm not buying it for you, but it's up for you to like give it forward if you want.
And that makes the book even more special, I feel like, if it's like already pre-loved and someone else took the wisdom or learned something from it. That's really special.
So it's like hopefully a library that we're building by exchanging a lot of books.
I'm all for that. So if the audience, let us know where you're tuning in from, who is here. We always love seeing you here. Thank you for being here, Karen. Love that it's their first time on a live class. Welcome. Welcome. And anyone who has any last minute holiday shopping ideas, this is the place to drop them in. But now it is time to dive right into setting career goals. And I would love to hear your story, Prashha, because I know you've overcome a lot of challenges, and your journey to achieving success is super inspiring. Yes. Can you share with us how these experiences shaped your approach to setting and achieving career goals?
Yes. So I'll give you a little background. So I moved to America about 10, 11 years ago, and I came to America to pursue my master's in aerospace engineering. And early on, I realized that aerospace engineers don't get like visa sponsorships, and I needed one desperately. So I had to switch my careers and do the aerospace courses, but basically do the degree in mechanical, so I had more options. And so I think for a long time, a lot of my career goals were driven by my circumstances or like just what I had to do, which I think a lot of immigrants have to do. A lot of minorities have to just pick the jobs that they can get, or we don't always have the luxury of like setting goals. So the first 5 to 6 years of my career in America was more about like just getting through the motion so I can get the visas figured out and buy some of that freedom of like setting up my own goals. And so once I got my green card, then I was able to really finally be more and more intentional about goal setting, because now I had the sort of freedom of like what I could do. Earlier it was more like you gotta paint in within the lines, because if you go too outside, like you just can't, because the boundaries are so tight when it comes to like visa and stuff. But one thing I did make sure is that I was always intentional. Even within those lines, I was still able to plan and set some intentional goals. So yeah, so that is my approach to goal setting now, is that I'm very intentional with it, which is step number one, versus trying to be more survivalistic, like, oh, I'll just take another job or I'll just take another role, but like thinking through like what I really want. And I think even with my clients, I've been able to sort of re-engineer the process I used in my career. And that's more like, let's set a vision, like let's set a long-term plan or even vision or thought or like what you want in your life, and then let's work backwards to build some career goals that then reach there. I have a workshop inside my program where we do this retirement day meditation for my clients, which is super cool because people never think about their retirement days. And I think it's super nice because they are able to really sit with the thought that this is a temporary career, it's going to be over one day, and if when it's over, what do I want out of it? And once they're able to sort of visualize or even like again entertain the thought, then we start to build a career plan and like think about goals in that way. Because otherwise you're setting your short-term goals and then it's a whole mishmash of things that may or may not work in the long term.
That is such a amazing approach to do a retirement meditation.
Yes.
Are you open to sharing what that looks like?
Yeah, it's just a guided meditation. It's just I guide them through like 5 minutes of like just center yourself, close your eyes, take a moment, and like visualize this day of like people celebrating your career and you're finally moving towards the beach living or whatever you want for your retirement. But again, I think like sitting with some of those cues of like this is this is why I'm doing all of this, because if I don't have that in mind, then I'll just like do things that are all about getting out of this current situation, or the shiny object syndrome, like I want that second thing. It's like we got to find a balance between the two. And yeah, it's really cool. Anybody can do it. It's just about like closing your eyes, put a timer on, and visualize the day you retire. Who will come to your party? Who will give a speech? Like, and what will they say? What will they say that your career? What did you add? What value did you add in your 30 years of career? And if you can somehow channel that, which surprisingly most of my clients end up with something comes to them in that few minutes.
That is
really
beautiful. And I've done something similar where you really think about what it is that when you look back on your retirement, what is it that you want to feel and what do you want others to say? That is like so incredible when you think about it from like looking back. And some of the things that when I did that exercise came to me like, okay, when I go into retirement, do I want, and that is back in my corporate career, do I want to be known for that I worked really hard for 50 hours a week, was always stressed, had no time for my family, was unhappy, was doing a good job, but I was like, oh yeah, no, this is everything I'm doing right now is not what I would want myself to feel like and others to say about me in retirement. So it's amazing how eye-opening that is.
Yes.
Oh, we have so many comments in here. Welcome, Irina. Love that you're tuning in from San Francisco. And Karen is on board with gifting books and educational gifts. I'm all for that too. And also is on the same board on meditation. And then we have Shruti here. I hope I pronounced that correct, from New York. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great seeing everyone. And a huge question, Prasha, that I would like to address is that so many people face that huge what's next moment in our careers.
Yeah.
How did you navigate this period of uncertainty yourself? And what advice would you give to others experiencing similar challenges?
Yeah. I think it's very difficult for us to figure out what's next because it's not taught in school. We're not taught to deal with uncertainty or how to deal with confusion. And I think a lot of women, because my work is predominantly with women and also women in STEM who are high performing women, we tend to make this mean something about us. If I can't figure something out, if I am confused, means I'm dumb, means I'm stupid, and oh my God, like all the work I've done, my degrees don't matter anymore. And we just like, there's an avalanche of self-doubt that just like takes over. And I've seen many high performing women feel this way, and they just don't know how to sit with that confusion. And so when I faced uncertainty in my career, and that was, I remember the moment very clearly because I had gotten a promotion and I was kind of waiting to see what's next. And one of the things I did was I was updating my LinkedIn and I said, I'm a mechanical engineer, and I couldn't think of anything else. It was just, that's it. Like my identity was just tied to that degree. And that got me a lot of like anxiety. And of course I entered that confusion state of like, what am I going to do next? And if it took so long to become a mechanical engineer, like, is this all I'm going to get? Like, is there more to life? And if so, like, what is that? And so the way I dealt with that, Teresa, is that I sat with it. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that. So inside my program too, and like anybody I speak to about confusion and how to deal with this what's next question, I think confusion is good because confusion is the first step to clarity. Like if you're not confused, you're still in your comfort zone and you've not allowed yourself to experience these different options or opportunities, which should confuse you, right? And so you're not asking yourself tough enough questions and you're not putting yourself in that confused state. Now, again, confusion is the first step to clarity. So I think it's good, like just reframing that and reassigning that thought of confusion from confusion means I'm dumb should now become confusion means the next step will be clarity because I am confused, and accepting that, and it's okay, it doesn't mean anything about me. It's actually the opening of something amazing that might happen once I lean into that confusion and just sit with it for a second. And sometimes just a day can bring a lot of clarity because you're like allowing yourself to consider all the options versus making it mean something about you.
That just blew me away. That is such an amazing mindset shift because I fully agree. And I saw that in myself years ago. And what you just said, that self-doubt has nothing to do with us, but we do think like, what's wrong with me? Like, why don't, like, first of all, there's all these shoulds, like I should, like for you, it might have been like, I should be a mechanical engineer. That's what I studied. And that's what society wants me to do, or that's what I need to do. And there's all these shoulds, and I face many of those. And saying like, it's okay to be uncertain and not know what's next, and taking that as an opening instead of a negative self-belief. Oh, I absolutely love that reframe. That is amazing.
Yeah, because I think it's one of those things, right? Like we're not taught how to deal with it. That's all it is. It's something new. We've never faced it before. Our parents, counselors, mentors, teachers, they had a pre-planned approach for us. So we never got to figure anything out ourselves. It's the first time in our lives that we have an opportunity. And so sure, it will feel icky at first, but if you lean into it, it will be a great learning opportunity.
And speaking about leaning into that, that you mentioned before that that mindset plays a big role in career advancement. How important do you think is cultivating the right mindset when setting career goals? And what are some strategies so you can develop that mindset?
Yeah, I mean, that's all my work, all my life's work's dedicated to helping people understand that they can't accomplish anything without mindset. And, it's almost like swimming, against the current or pushing a boulder up a hill. Like, if you remove mindset from it, it's almost like you've removed yourself from the process, and now you become super dependent on other people. And, oh, if my manager gives me a promotion, only then I can get a promotion. Or, oh my god, I'm the victim of all these people that are trying to do this to me. You sort of just you lose yourself because you decided to let go of that one piece that actually will help you move things faster. So it's a very bad strategy. I mean, anybody who thinks that a strategy can help them is almost like saying that a diet can help you and you have to do nothing. Like, you literally have to do nothing and you just have to eat good food. And, like, suddenly, with the shitty mindset and bad mindset and a horrible approach to weight loss, you're suddenly going to have like a six-pack abs. Like, it's not going to happen. So instead, if you want things to happen faster, you must double down on your mindset, because it's low in terms of resource investment, right? Like, it's not like working on your resume might take 3 hours, but taking a cold shower takes 10 minutes, right? So it's less upfront investment for a lot more return on, how it will help you move through your goals faster. So one simple equation I share with literally everybody I meet, and also which helps a lot of my own clients get really incredible opportunities faster, and everybody can use this to shrink their timelines when it comes to their goals, is action times belief is result. So a lot of people think that action plus belief is result. And when I say belief, I mean the whole mindset approach, right? So if I'm thinking it's an additive, I will ignore it because it's not a big deal, right? Like, I don't need to believe in myself. I don't need to have a good mindset. I don't have a good routine. I could just throw that like 100% on action and suddenly I will get results. So the plus sign makes it like good to have. But if we replace that plus with a multiplier, that's exactly how results come, because it's action times belief. So that's why you and I can take the same amount of action, but we won't get the same results, because your belief and my belief, your mindset, my mindset, your lifestyle, my lifestyle, they're all different. And that's what impacts that multiplier. And that's why people get frustrated when they're so strategy driven, because they feel like it's the strategy that's going to do something. And then they get upset that, oh, why is it's not fair? Like, I did the IG live too, and she did the IG live too, but how come she has like 100,000 followers and I don't? Yes, of course, there's a percentage luck that we're not going to worry about that because it's not in our control. So what's the point? But action and belief are in our control. And I feel like too many high performers and people spend too much time obsessed with actions and totally ignoring belief, which means if your belief is zero, then all of that work you did is not worth it. So don't do it. Like, at least approach it 90-10. And I approach it 90-10 the other way because I'm a self-proclaimed lazy person. So I'm opposite. I'm like, I'm going to double down on belief, like double down. And I'm going to make sure that the action that I take is enough so that I don't burn out or I don't completely lose balance of my life, because I don't want a life like that. I don't want to hustle all the time. So I am trying my best to reduce action, increase belief, and therefore get better results. So I think that's how mindset plays a role into it. It's like, you can choose whichever strategy you want. If you don't have a lot of belief in yourself, yes, a lot of action will help. But if the belief is zero, you must take a pause and analyze that mindset as to why you don't believe in something. Because if you don't believe in it, like, don't waste your time. It's just, there's no strategy in this world that can trump that for you, or just be like, oh yeah, you can have that. You don't need to believe in it. It's like, that's just not how big goals work, or any goals, I think, for that matter.
That was just such a huge eye opener.
Yes.
That times belief, how you explained the difference if it's a plus versus a multiplier.
Yes.
And you're right. If the belief is zero, then you can put an incredible amount of action into it and strategy.
And it happens. Yeah, I think a lot of people do that. Yeah.
That is huge. And at least a one. If you're at least a one, you're not losing everything you put into.
Exactly.
You're the proof that if you go with the 1090, you can have huge success with not that much action, but a lot of mindset.
Yes, yes. I think that's valuable approach because it again, how do you, because you have so many variables, like how do you optimize this in a way that you still get to go to bed at 9:30 and you still get to spend time with family, like, because the other approach is like burning out and like not having the time. So it's not the best approach for women with families or minorities with a lot of responsibilities. I feel like belief is something we can all work a little bit harder on. And so, yeah, even if you do 50-50, and I think a lot of us, like, again, with being immigrants and being, again, minorities, we have a lot of things stacked against us. So I think we need both 100, right? Like we need 100% action, but also need 100% belief. And then we can overcome a lot of these obstacles or biases that we are fighting on a daily basis. So, yeah, so that's why I love that equation.
Yes, I love this too. I'm a total believer now that you explained this to us. And I agree. It's about finding that balance because, as you said, like if you go with that 100% action, but very low on the mindset, that leads to burnout. And because you're putting in more and more and more action without seeing the result, and you work yourself into burnout.
Exactly.
So actually taking the action down a little bit for those high achievers, but the mindset up. And then once they're
perfect,
everyone probably has to find their own balance there.
Yes.
But once you're somewhere in the center for both of those, that's where you get results and you can get away from this overworking and
exactly
working 24/7 and feeling all that pressure and putting some of that energy into actually believing in yourself.
Yes.
I'm going to be sharing that with lots of people. I love this.
I would love to say I invented it, but I don't think. I'm sure some other smart person probably did, and I read it somewhere, but I can't remember.
You're the one to share it with all of us today. That is what matters.
Yes.
And based on your experience in coaching over 200 women, what are some of those common challenges that you see them facing when setting their career goals? And we already talked a little bit about mindset, but how do you guide them through the challenges so they can actually set clear career goals?
Yeah, absolutely. So early on in my coaching, I developed this framework called the clarity loop, and it's sort of a mindset. It's not a mindset, but sort of a mind map of like how do you think about your different areas of your life and your goals in general. And it's kind of like a 6-step process, but one is just gaining the clarity, then thinking about your why, and only then coming to the action piece where we start talking about goal setting. And so I don't think, one thing I've noticed about women in general and immigrants and corporations across the board, even schools and education, is that they don't teach you how to set goals. They give you goals, which is the problem. Right? Like if you're in an organization, they just hand you the goal, and if you are in school, they just hand you the goal. So nobody's helping you think for yourself and set goals, which is why you end up in a life which does not look like the life you want, because you never set goals for yourself. Like you just accepted what was handed to you or what was assigned to you. And now you're like, if you have a little bit freedom of thought and a freedom of, I need to choose a career or take on a new career path, you feel super lost because, again, it's a skill you don't have and there's no strategy for it. So that's what I did early on in my coaching, is like I standardized the approach. And then I tested it with so many women that I know after 3 years of doing it, I know that that loop works really, really well. It kind of gives them a tool that is sustainable. So that means within, after a year after coaching with me or 2 years after coaching with me, they can use the same approach to like keep setting new goals, because it's just a strategic approach on how to set goals for any area of your life. So one is organization, right? Like organizing yourself and understanding what are the key components of like setting goals or figuring out what you want. And one of the things I teach a lot is like converting your visions into goals, which is very important. So a lot of people have a lot of big visions, or other people will have small goals and they don't have any visions. But I think we all need to have certain type of vision to then convert it into a little goal. And so I think that's the key thing that I use to handle and tackle a lot of confusion that people are going through, is to help them convert the visions into goals. And the other thing I've noticed is that once they have these goals, Usually people use the STAR method. So they're talking a lot about the actionable, timely, a specific, and what is it? The R stands for?
Result.
What is it?
Situation, task, action, result.
Oh, no, the STAR
No?
goal setting. So that's specific, timely, action.
Is it? I know it as the
And
SMART: strategic, measurable, action-oriented.
And what's the R for? The R
and time-bound.
Right. Anyways, whatever that is for, that is the approach that they take in organizations. And my take on that, Teresa, is STEM goals. So I help my clients set up something called STEM goals, and the specific SMART goals. Thank you, Irina. Specific, measurable, actionable. We're stuck in the R again. So maybe Irina will be realistic. Thank you, everyone.
I have heard both of those before. So thanks for helping us out here. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. We're so excited that you're here, and this helped us see a lot of people too. But thank you. So SMART goals. Great goals, excellent method. I'm sure there's tons of research behind how they're set up. My approach to that is STEM goals, which is specific, timely, and E stands for energizing and measurable. So the reason I use this acronym is, of course, there's a branding element to it because I'm a women in STEM coach. But then the energizing piece is that I realized it when I started my podcast, and I had very little time and I had very little resources, and I still wanted to do it. And I had this big goal of TEDx, and I reflected and tried to understand, why did I stick to this goal for so long? What kept me going for 3 years? What kept me creative? And I realized it was the energizing piece. That goal energized me a lot. It helped me wake up at 4:30. It helped me do the things I wanted to do because it's so energizing to think of myself on a TEDx stage, and that helped me build a really great podcast. So I feel like if we can create energizing goals as very busy people, then we can actually accomplish them. Because a lot of people want to lose weight, and it's a horrible goal because it doesn't make you feel good about yourself. It makes you feel horrible about yourself. So what would be the energizing version of it? And I feel like that is my take on epic goal setting. Is if you can use the SMART goal method, but just add E to it and make sure it's energizing. To understand how to convert a vision into a goal, because a vision is not a goal and a goal is not a vision. So it needs to have those elements of a goal that are, again, specific, timely, measurable, energizing. And I think 3 is acceptance of the goal. A lot of people struggle with that. So I've had so many workshops where somebody would say, I want a 200K job at a FANG company by the end of 2023. But then as soon as they see it on paper, they retract, they freak out. They're like, oh, there's no way, I can't do, so they self-disqualify way too soon in the process. And because they get so afraid, they lower the goal very quickly. Or sometimes just not even think about it because of how it makes them feel and how difficult it is. And I feel like if you want to do something cool in life, something good in life, then it's important to not focus on how hard or easy it's going to be. It's important to focus on how fun would it be if I was able to get a 200K job? How amazing will that be? So for me, that was the whole thing. With TEDx, how cool will it be if I'm the first person in my family to stand on the red dot? That'll be so cool. And so that is the approach. And it doesn't matter it took 3 years. It doesn't matter it was easy or hard or difficult. What matters is it was so much fun to go after that goal. And that's why that energizing piece is super important. So if the 200K jobs, if that goal of 200K job closes you down, energetically feels horrible, and it's not a good fit energetically, then reframe it. Think of what would feel exciting. Will walking into Google's office feel exciting? Would driving a Tesla would feel what is it that will make you really excited for this goal? And you will be able to accept it as a goal. Because again, if you don't accept it, if you reject it at this goal setting stage, you will never do the work, you will never get the goal accomplished. So it's a mindset thing at the early stages of goal setting, that people take it either too mechanically and don't even care about the energy, and then say, oh, I set goals on January 1st every year and they are SMART goals. How come I don't accomplish them? Because you don't care about those goals. You didn't think about the clarity, you didn't think about the why, you didn't have a vision, and then you genuinely don't really care about it. and you didn't accept your goal. So as coaches, I think we all, I'm sure you and all the speakers in this series, our job is to push people to accept these goals, that yes, you can do it. Because again, we have this tendency to disqualify ourselves before we even accept the goal. So I think it's very, very important to set this perfect goal that is energizing, motivating, and worth going for, and also kind of pushes us a little bit more. But for all of that to happen, sometimes we need some extra support to get that push and get that goal set. So I hope that was a long-ended answer to your
But
question.
I love all the three parts that you talked about. And it's so, like, I'm a big proponent of finding work that energizes you. So the word energize just resonates with me so much. And I love how you incorporate that, how you incorporate it into goal setting. Because there's so much work that we do because we think we should do it and we're really good at it. But then we end up noticing when we pay attention that it actually drains us. And paying attention to what drains us and what energizes us. And I love that you're already starting to think about that at the goal setting stage. Is that going to be a goal that energizes me?
Yeah.
Or is that going to go one that drains me? And yeah, I'm like right there. If my goal is to lose 10 pounds in the next 3 months, I'm going to be really drained by that goal.
Like the goal I'm considering for 2024, like, because I want to lose weight too, but I hate that concept. So I'm like, you know what, I'm actually gonna do Olympic powerlifting. Like, that's what I'm gonna do because I love doing it, and hopefully we'll lose weight.
Yes. I'm signing up for a climbing gym. I'm like starting a rock climbing. I'm putting it out into the world so you can all hold me accountable.
Yes.
February 1st, I'm in the rock climbing gym, starting my new workout routine. And you'll be the weightlifter.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's such a different feeling, right? Even just talking about it, like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds. I'm just like, oh. No. But if I say like, oh, I'm gonna go to a rock climbing gym, I'm like, the energy level is different.
Yes.
Love that. And you've shared a little bit about mindset. Are there any visualization or clarity techniques that have been effective for you and your clients in defining and pursuing career goals?
Yes. So I honestly record my own like meditations or guided conversations, like that just helps people think through some of these big visions and long-term vision setting. I'd be very happy to share it with people on this call. If they just send me the word career, I can guide them. Most likely you'll get it tomorrow, but if you send that over, I can definitely share some of my recorded audios that I've created. That would be really easy for me to share. And but if you're not able to get a guided meditation, I think there are many ways to visualize. I'll give you a fantastic example that I have given to a lot of my clients, and it helps a lot. I had a client once who wanted to work for Google, and she just didn't think it was possible at all that she could even get a call or conversation going or anything might happen with Google. But she lived in California. So I said, okay, like, you live in Palo Alto, like, you live closer to Google, yes or no? And she's like, yes, very close. I can always go there. I'm like, can you go there this weekend? Like, let's just go. Like, just let's just be in that energy, in that space. And that's exactly what I did for my own TEDx goal. Is like, I couldn't see myself on the red dot, and that was getting in the way. So I went to TEDx Cambridge in 2018 or 19, and we just went like on a whim, and like, okay, we're gonna go. Me and my husband went and watched it. Took a lot of photos next to the TEDx symbol. It was great. It was a perfect way to visualize it. And like about if it was 2019, I can't remember, but I got my TEDx in April 2020. So it was pretty fast after that it did happen. And so I feel like putting yourself in those places that you are going for. I have another client who wanted to buy her dream house, and she never thought she could afford it or have it. And literally, I said to her, okay, if there is an open house in your area, which for a house like that, just go ahead and go to the open house. And she went, and she actually closed on the house like 8 weeks into the program. She now lives in $1 million house that she thought she could never afford or never have or didn't exist. And it was right there, like just a few lanes below. and it works exceptionally fast. So I feel like if there is, in fact, right now, this year I threw a retreat for my clients, and I want to have a house on the beach, and I've never been to one, and I'm like, how can I ever manifest it, ever have it, or ever set a goal around it when I've never been to a place like that? So I rented a perfect house, which was literally on the beach, and I'm like, okay, like I spent a whole weekend there. I feel like this can happen sooner for us than before. So I think my favorite visualization technique would be to get into the spaces that you want to create for yourself. So whether it's the stages, it's the rooms where you want to be at. I always wanted to build a company, so very early on I got on a board of directors for a nonprofit, and that just being on that board feels like, oh my god, like I can do anything. So drive that car, test drive it. I mean, even from like my car, I test drove it on my birthday, and I was just like, I don't think I can afford it, but I'll drive it. Turns out I could actually afford it. And so uh, it was wonderful. So what I'm saying is not to be responsible, but if you can put yourself in the right places, Amazon offices, Google offices, offices that you want to work at, if you could get an invitation, go there, sit there, and that's going to do way more for your motivation and clarity than anything else. Another way, Teresa, that people can do this, and which has again worked wonders for me, is surround yourself with relatable role models. So if you struggle with visualization, which I know a lot of people do, and if you struggle with manifestation and even understanding the concepts of that, that's fine. Just find yourself 2 to 3 relatable people that are doing exactly what you want. And I think, Diana always gets a shout out from me, but I'll give her one more shout out today. But I think Diana is one of those people for me, right? Like her presence on
100%.
LinkedIn and the work
Yes.
she does, she's my relatable role model. I relate with her story and how she's showing up, and I feel like if she can do it, I can do it. So that's a part of my visualization process, is to be surrounded by these people. And even if it's not like friendships like I have with Diana, it could just be even like acquaintances or one coffee chat here and there. But find these people that have the things you want and talk to them. Don't close up, don't block them, don't feel like I can't be around this person because they have all the things I want. Instead, channel that jealousy into conversation. And again, some people feel a lot of jealousy, and very early on in my career I learned how to deal with it. I just said, I am never jealous of people, I'm always inspired. So there's always something. If I feel that negative emotion, I need to self-inquire and write down, what does she have that I want? Like, why am I feeling this way? There has to be something that they have that is making me feel like I want it too. And if I could just lean into it, again, I get more clear. And then once I have the goal, I can approach them and say, look, like I told Diana when I started on LinkedIn, I said, how do you get a top voice badge? Like, that's all I want. How do you get it? And she was so generous. She's like, oh, here's the link on all things about it. And I got my top voice last month. And I was like, that's awesome. But again, being around those people, talking to them, even be approaching them, you will learn 10 times more, and there'll be better visualization of what you want because you're closer to them. So yes, few techniques that I love. I love the realness of things. Like, can we make it real? If we can make it real, then we have ourselves a really great vision.
I love that. I would love to get one of your meditations that you recorded.
Yes,
absolutely.
I will send it to you.
But I also absolutely love that you're making it real, because, like, for me, I don't know if you're familiar with the term, but I have aphantasia, which means I cannot visualize anything. So when I close my eyes, there's no pictures. So I always get frustrated when it's visualizations where I'm like, oh, visualize this, and I'm like, I can't. It's impossible for me. Yeah. But when you talk about going into the spaces, I'm like, oh yeah, that would get you excited. And that's a huge one that I always teach in networking as well, is like, talk to the people who do what you'd love to do. These are the people you want to surround yourself with. Have those conversations. And that gets you, so many fold closer to it. But one, the mindset that you were talking about, because you're just surrounded by the right people, and then the opportunities these conversations will open is incredible. Oh my God, I took so much away from everything that you shared today. This was just absolutely incredible. Like, your insights are amazing. For anyone who wants to get in touch with you, what is the best way for people to reach out to you?
Yeah, for sure. So you can, again, like I said, you can DM me the word career, and I'll share a lot of the relatable and relevant resources that might support you right now. I'm very accessible on LinkedIn and Instagram, and my tag is Prashha Dutra and with an extra H. And yeah, those are the two best ways to get in touch with me. And I would love to hear where you're at, where you're stuck, and just one of the things I like to do with everybody who comes in my universe is kind of just a little quick audit of your career, like what's happening, like where you at, what's going on. And then if I'm the right person to help you, then we get on a call and we discuss more. If I'm not the right person, then again, just like Teresa, like we have this huge network of exceptionally well resourced coaches that we can always guide you to the one that is the best fit for your situation. I usually work with people who kind of have jobs and are trying to grow to better jobs. So that's kind of like my area of expertise, or women who want to start their side hustles or businesses in STEM and, within that ecosystem. So those are like two big people, like big categories of people that I serve. But other than that, yeah, my content on LinkedIn is probably the best way to interact with me on a daily basis.
Thank you. Definitely everyone out there, follow Prashha on LinkedIn and Instagram. I'm looking forward to all the content you're sharing. Like, your take on mindset is just incredible.
Thank you.
I love everything that you shared with us today, and thank you for being here. I hope that you have
Yes.
a wonderful holiday
Thank
time.
you so much, Teresa. Thanks everyone for joining. I look forward to hearing from everyone, and congratulations on this epic event. I can't think of a better way to give back to the community for this festive season. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for being here, Prashha. This was amazing.
Excellent. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye. Wasn't this just absolutely incredible, this conversation with Prashha? I started taking notes to recap, and I ended up with like 2 pages of notes. But some of my biggest takeaways from this conversation were that she was speaking about that phase of uncertainty, seeing that in a positive light of it being a first step toward to leaning into what is going to be next, and not taking it as this bad belief about ourselves, negative belief about ourselves, but really as a chance of knowing, like, okay, there's some uncertainty I'm facing right now. It's okay to sit with it and then tap into what's next. Because it is, as Prashha said, it is the opening of something new, something that can be amazing, and leaning into that. How incredible is that? And something else that really stood out to me is that when you think about your career, when your strategy is to depend on other people, when your strategy is to depend on the people that to accept your application, or to give you a raise, or to give you a promotion, that's a bad strategy, because you're not in the driver's seat. But if you are taking charge and you're really believing in yourself, and you know your goals, you know where you want to go, it's not dependent on other people, you know where you want to go and what steps you want to take, that is such a turning point. And then, I mean, how incredible was her change of, where is it in the chat? I want to bring this back in here. Action multiplied by belief equals results. How incredible is that? That we need to put in action, but also we need to believe in it. We have to have the right mindset to get results, because one without the other equals 0. So for all of you guys out there who are working so hard and hard and hard and hard, and are heading into a direction of burnout, keep that in mind, that you can dial the action down and dial the belief up, and it might have more results than action by itself. And I also, last but not least, loved her ideas on visualization, going into the spaces that you want to be in, so you can picture yourself in there. Prashha, she went on a TED talk to be in that space, so she can visualize herself giving that TED talk. So inspiring. And then also surrounding yourself with people who do what you'd love to do, and tapping into, or turning, when you have that feeling of jealousy, turning that into inspiration, finding what it is that these people have that you want so badly, and then feeling inspired by them because you see it's possible. And if it's possible for them, it is possible for you. And then leaning into those conversations to tap into those possibilities. This was just an absolutely incredible session with Prashha today. But it is actually only day 7 of the 12 days of career goals. And we're not just doing daily amazing talk with some of the top minds in career development, but I am also giving away some really, really great holiday prizes and gifts this year. The biggest prize you can take away is the ultimate resume upgrade. That is me writing you a brand new resume. I've never done that before. I don't think I'll do that again. But this Christmas, I wanted to give back big time. So if you sign up on the 12 days of career goals, then you are automatically entered into the drawing for these prizes. I'm also giving away a one-on-one deep dive career coaching session. That is a 1 hour with me where we go into really what is it that you are meant to do, finding that career clarity, and then setting effective goals. I also give away a standout LinkedIn profile, which is me redoing your LinkedIn profile. So you can, so it has your strong personal brand and you can really shine and stand out to hiring managers. And last but not least, my ultimate transferable skills guide that taps into those energizing skills that we talked about today, figuring out what are the skills that you have that energize you and what are the ones that you want to that drain you. And then it's a very easy step-by-step process. In about 10-15 minutes, you have a list of transferable skills that energize you that can really help you find career clarity, because now you know you want your next career step to revolve around those. So tomorrow we're gonna be back for day 8, and I am incredibly excited on day 8 to be speaking with Anna Gaynor about finding work-life harmony. So make sure that you register. It is free on the 12 days of career goals, so that you get the link in your inbox for tomorrow's live event and that you tune in with us tomorrow. Bye for now, and a wonderful Sunday to all of you.